heading towards end of my shift.
Okay, good, good. So you're looking forward to getting to bed, are you? Or what
Yep,
do you
I'm
do?
looking forward to get to my bed, right? Because I work in night, so I feel a lot of sleepy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so you are host again and live.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Have a great class.
I will. Thank you. Hello, Kim. Welcome. Hello, Kim.
Hello, Michael. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. Is this your first class today?
No, no. I had one at 8 o'clock my time, so 3 hours ago. Yeah.
Oh,
Two,
okay.
2 hours ago. 2 hours ago. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I did a business one. Um, I'm busy designing 5 business classes, one after for the others. Okay, so I did the first one today, and that went well.
Good thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna just put my dog out. So I'm gonna turn my microphone off for a minute.
Okay. Okay. I'll be here.
There you are. They out of the way now. Okay, I have made you co-host, Kim. So that's just reading
Thank
your.
you.
Okay. We don't have many people booked for this class. Interesting to see how many come up. Kim, when does the live streaming start? I mean, Harry's done it, and we did, but do people that get set up click through on the hour, or when do they actually start the live streaming? Does it start when the class starts, or has it already?
Yes, that's right. It'll start when the class starts. Like for example, your class is scheduled at 7 p.m. PST. At 7 p.m. PST, we'll go live right away on all our channels.
Okay. Okay. So at the moment, with you and I talking, that's not live streaming.
It's still not live streaming, yes.
Okay. Ooh, hello, Sue.
Hello.
Hey, nice to have you in class.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Great. That picture that came up before your virtual picture, was that your garden or?
No, I want people to believe it was because it's a really nice picture, but no, it was actually in a shopping center.
Oh,
Yeah, it's really, they always have beautiful flowers there and everything. So I took
right.
advantage of it, but you're the second person today to ask me that. I should just fib and say, yeah.
Yes, why not? I liked it. It was very pretty.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, they always do such a nice job there. They always,
Yeah.
yeah, they
Right.
make you want to come and spend your money.
Why don't you use it as your virtual background?
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
I guess I have to play around with sometimes when like there's flowers in the back where it's sticking straight up right behind your head. It's kind of strange looking. So that was one I hadn't tried out yet, but I might.
Right. Yeah. When I'm dealing with my personal Zoom, I use a lot of different virtual realities, and I
Kind of
really.
fun.
Yeah, they are. And there's also one that you can use that I talk about in my class, my Zoom tips and tricks, where you can actually have your presentation behind you as your virtual reality. Okay, and you can
Oh,
be, and that's
that's
fun
an
too.
interesting idea. I hadn't thought about that, but
Yeah, join the class and you can see.
it actually is one of the ones that I would like to attend. I have a slew of them. It's like every class I'm thinking hopefully they'll just I don't know, do you recycle them and bring them back, or because I just
Yes.
feel like I had just started. This is only my third or fourth class.
Okay.
But there's so many that I'm interested in that I was hoping, because I can't take them all at one time. It's just
No, they do
not
recycle.
hours of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we repeat them sort of month in and month out. So, and in any one month, you will see the option of the class at different times of the day, but probably 3 or 4 times in a month. Okay. So,
And then in a month or so, you might get the same class back again as well.
yes, you will. No,
Okay.
you will. You always have the same. We're just increasing in the number of classes at the moment. So,
Yeah, there's quite a few classes.
but not many get taken off. And so you can ask Catherine. Yeah, hello, Catherine. Nice to have you back. Yeah, she was in my previous class this morning.
I didn't go to bed.
Why?
I was going to. I scrolled classes and I found this one and I'm like, oh, I want that too. And it's addictive.
There's so many good classes on the same way. It's like, it's 11 p.m. I don't know what time it is where you guys are, but it's 11 o'clock at night here. And I'm like, I want to take this class. So
I know.
I took a little nap earlier.
I have to get up at 4.
Oh, no.
Yeah, get my
Oh,
husband off to work and all that. I could take a nap though, so that's good.
Yeah, but still, you have to get up. The point is, you have to get up.
But I'm
Well,
excited.
my time is different to your time. Okay. I'm 11 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. I'll tell you a little bit more now. Let me share my screen. We're going to go through a couple of slides, and then we're going to go and visit a couple of apps and talk about them. The idea of this class is really to give an overview of some of the Google apps that are around. And we do have classes. I don't have particular class, but we do have classes. Get Set Up does on almost all the apps I'm going to show you as specialist classes. Okay, sort of. So if there's something you like that we look at, and there's more than likely a class that. So I'm not sure what your motive for staying up so late to see this class. Maybe Sue, you can tell me first.
Well, like I said, I just started it was last week that I just discovered this website. I didn't know it existed. And so I like Christine or Catherine, excuse me, it's addictive. There's so many classes and you're looking, and I'm looking at my schedule, and then I'm like, oh, that looks good, and that looks good, and that looks good. So I feel like they're the ones that I've been to, they're informative, they're not over my head, but and so I'm learning things that I've always wanted to learn. So I thought, well, I usually don't fall asleep till later, so I'll take a class at 11 p.m. Why not?
Why not?
You're snoring. Don't be offended.
No, that's great, Sue. Thanks for sharing. What about you, Catherine?
I'm trying to connect all the dots, all the classes that I'm taking about business and about selling online, and I just want to make sure that I'm a retired paralegal, so I know, but it's been a few years. It's been like 7 years since I've been in an office, and a lot can happen in 7 years. So I'm not fit with OneNote. Is that what you call it? So
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that, and I just want to be current, and I want to make sure when I'm doing this that I have all the right knowledge that you have. I need what you have.
No, that's a compliment. But I'm just like you guys. I am just in the same league, perhaps a bit older than both of you, but not knowledgeable. Just life gives you a little bit of wisdom when you get to this point. So. But we all have our likes and our dislikes and our hobbies, and I think, those things are what makes us knowledgeable in those areas, so that's quite, it's handy. It's great being this age, it really is. But anyway, Carol, what about you? Hello, welcome to the class. What brings you here?
Wanted to learn something new. Oh, excuse me. Wanted to learn exactly how Google works.
Okay. Wow, that's a big one. You know, Google is probably the biggest IT company in the world. So, but I know what you mean. Okay, and let's have a look at some of that. I just want to introduce you to Kim, who's also in our class. She works for Get Set Up, and she's there to help with any questions that you might have that I don't get to see. She'll show me the questions. But there are only a handful of us in class now, so you can leave your microphones off. Let's have them. Don't turn them off. I mean, leave them on. Sorry, and so that you can just ask questions as we go along, because we're going to be covering a lot. And we're going to almost superficially, we're going to be covering these things in order to show a little bit about Google, not a lot, okay? Because there are more than 150 Google apps, okay?
Oh, wow.
So what I hope to do is just to sprinkle a few in front of you, and we can then, you can look and say, I'd like to go into a bit deeper about that, and just make a note on a piece of paper, and then you can look for a class possibly then they devote the whole class maybe just to that one app. Okay, I do another class called the top 8 apps. Okay, where I go into a little bit more detail than the one on here, but I don't do it's not the same one. So what I do here, I don't do on the top. Well, they're not the top. So anyway. But the apps, these are only Google apps. My top apps include other apps that are not Google's as well. So anyway, I was, thanks Carol for contributing. And Kim, welcome. And it's really great having you in the class. So I'm going to share my screen now. Right. Can you see my slide with the computer in front of it? Great.
Yes.
Okay. That's super. You just nod your head or say yes, and as we go on, then that's fine. So we're just giving an overview, as I said, an introduction. And for those of you in the class that may not know me, like Sue, this is the first time I've seen Sue in class. And so it's really great seeing new people coming into class. As you can see on the screen, my name is Michael Plumstead, and I live in Perth, Western Australia. Okay. That's why we've got a 12-hour difference in time. Okay. And as far as you're concerned, I'm in tomorrow already. So you're speaking from to somebody in the future. So I'm an author. I research, I write. As Catherine well knows, she knows quite a lot about me from the previous the previous class we had. And so been a business owner and a trainer just about all my life. And I enjoy gardening. I enjoy growing microgreens, and I enjoy being a father. Yesterday, my youngest daughter gave birth to her first child. So,
Oh, congratulations.
yeah, thank you, man. I feel great. You know, I've got lots of children. I've got 9 children. Let me be open there. And my oldest child is 50, and this youngest one is 28. And sometimes I get confused with their names, and I mix them up with the dogs' names and so on.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyway, what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be looking at, and you laugh at that. It's a standing joke with my children, you know, because I run through, you know, I'm talking to somebody without one of my children without thinking, and then I say, I mean Haley, I mean James, and then I put in the dog's name, not on purpose. It just
I'm chuckling because I'm identifying. I'm not laughing at you. It's with you. I have 5 children and several grandchildren. I lost count. I forgot.
Okay. So don't worry.
See,
not sure what number this is, so,
Oh, boy.
anyway, so we're going to be covering that in the agenda. Basically, Google Apps I really enjoy a lot of them. Okay, and I hope to be sharing some of those that I enjoy today. But I use them for business, and I use them for communicating. I use them for entertainment, and I use them for researching as well. And they're good. And because it comes from the top IT company, you now know you're going to get class, and you're going to get really something that's well thought out and well designed, and with as far as programs and things are concerned. So yeah, you can see on the screen there that you use them for email, you use them for Office, for storage. This is also an important issue now as we're moving forward, storage in the clouds. So I need to spend a little bit more time on that, and of course for enrichment. You learn like you've never learned before. So okay, so I know from the little chat that we've had now that you probably, except for Carol, I didn't ask you, Carol, are you sort of in the novice or beginner as far as apps are concerned, or are you an experienced Google app user?
I would say I'm a novice.
A novice, okay, yeah, that's fine. All right, thanks very much for doing that. So Google has this little phrase that is their code, and I really believe it's true, and you'll see it in some of the Google slides as we go live later. They talk about organize your information and make it universally accessible and useful. Okay, and that really sums it up. You'll see, hopefully by the end of the class, that they really they stick to their promise, if that were a promise. Okay, and so you will see Google apps on just about every Google browser that you go to, and I'll show you as we go on. And you will see what you see there on the right hand side, a whole lot of pictures, a lot of apps that go down. You never see all. You never see anywhere even near 100 of let's say 150 of them, but you can search for them if you know about them. Okay.
It's intimidating to open that and see all of those and just not know what they are. It's almost overwhelming.
I agree, and the question is always is, where do you start? Okay,
Yeah.
And what will be useful for me? Okay.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so I guess attending classes like these and others that other guides do as well is useful to see if it's going to be of value to you. And because you eventually, particularly like for yourself, Catherine, you want to be in business, so you need to really find what's going to work for you in that category. Okay, and yeah. But anyway, and the big advantage of using Google, as you can see on the screen now, first of all, they're free. Okay, then they're always available on any device. So it's stored in the cloud. So if you go away on holiday and you only take holiday, when last did we have holidays? If you go away anywhere and you take a device, then it's going to be there. If you go to your bedroom with your phone, it's going to be there. So it's very valuable to have all your information stored in the clouds on Google, and it's stored on Google Drive, and I'll show you that. And of course you can share. You see, from the cloud, it's so easy just to send a link to somebody, and they can see that document, see that photo, see whatever you're actually happening to be doing at the moment. Yeah, requirements for Google app. Clearly, it's in the cloud, so you need an internet connection. Okay, and whether that's a Wi-Fi or a data connection doesn't matter, but you need the connection. And you do require a Google account. Okay, it's free. Okay, but that's the first thing that you need to have, and more than likely you have one, and you may not even know you have one. Like,
I do.
yeah, I mean, if you're browsing on Google, you've got a Google account. If you're
Yeah.
using Gmail, you've got Google account.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But we need to just go through that. Being an introductory class, you need to. I'm going to do this quite quickly because it's largely common sense. So you go to google.com. You can go to stroke accounts, otherwise just go to google.com, and you will see an opportunity where it's asking you to open an account. And so you would go through a process here. You'd click on create an account, and you'd fill in some details. Remember to fill in your telephone number. It comes in very handy. It doesn't have to be made public. You can keep it absolutely private on Google. But if Google want to send you, like now when you create an account, they want to send you a code to make sure it's you and that you're not just a monster that's trying to get into Google. so yeah.
They're out there.
Yeah, and they are out there. You're quite right. Okay, we've even experienced in the Get Set Up classes. Okay, you've got no idea. Wow. And it was my wife, unfortunately, who had the experience of these bombers coming into the Google class and being incredibly crude and rude and pornographic. And
That's
so,
awful.
yeah, it was horrible. It took her 2 days to recover. But anyway, back to this. We need to put the telephone number. It comes in and create a username for yourself. It's not always easy. I'm fortunate because I got in quite many years ago. So my usernames are much the same on all the apps, which is my first name and my surname put together as one word. Okay. But these days you can imagine Mary Jones trying to put her two together. I wonder how many Mary Joneses.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And probably a lot of Catherine Cooks as well.
Yes, there are a ton. But I too did it way back in the day, and my email is my first name and last name. So.
Oh, well, okay. No, I couldn't. Mine is that too, but it wouldn't allow me. Google, I had to put a number in.
Oh, I had to put a zero. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I put a in. Okay. Okay. So you will then get a phone call or an SMS, or you can download the Google authorizer, which you put on your phone. It comes in handy it doesn't cost you anything, and they just send then an authorization to that particular. You see that's an app as well, a Google authorizer, and you can download it. But you don't have to. They'll send it to you on your SMS, on your messages, and you will have to then take the code and put it into the document that you've now opened to create an account. Okay, and then having verified who you are, you then start creating a profile for yourself, and your date of birth, and whether you are male or female or other, and so yeah, those are the options, you see. So okay, so now you have a Google account. It's as simple as that. Okay, and with a Google account, you now have access to the internet with Google. Okay, and Google is the largest search engine on the planet. Okay, and do you know what the second largest is? Anybody want to guess?
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, I was going to say Yahoo also.
YouTube. And who bought YouTube? Google.
Google, of course.
So I think they've sort of got a kind of monopoly, but yeah, there are other search engines out there. I also use Firefox, and that's different. So yeah, but this is definitely the primary search engine, and there is no information that you can't search for on Google. There really isn't. Okay, and so it comes in very handy. I say it comes in handy, but it can be inconvenient. because there's too much information out there. There's just too much information. Tell me if one of you, when you're searching on Google or on Yahoo, do you ever go to the second page? You just look at the first page, don't you?
Yeah.
And yet there might be 100 pages still of search, so there's just too much information, much information. Anyway, so let's just, I'm going to continue going through slides just for a little while. And then we'll go look live on some of these, and we'll take a tour and see what's there. So whenever you see this little icon up here, some people call it a waffle iron icon. Okay, I guess your waffles look like that in America. I don't know. Yeah, they do. Okay, so it's a waffle iron icon. If you click on that, immediately the first row of 12 apps come down, and then you can scroll down and a lot more come up underneath that. Okay, and so you can now click on the waffle iron and select an app that you want, either on your computer. I'm now talking via my desktop computer. I use that all the time when I'm in class and so forth. But when I'm on my own, then I've got a little tablet and my phone. And so you can download it onto any of those. It will download onto any type of device that you have. So you just must be using the device that you're going to click on. Okay. So there's no need to install anything because it's all in the clouds, except on your smartphone. Then you just open it and it's there. Okay. So you would go to your store. It can be either of those two stores probably, and search for Google app and download to your device, whichever one you're searching for. Okay. So you might click on the download. You might just search for whatever you're looking for. All right, so I want to, I've selected basically almost all of these, not all of them, but those were sort of like when I was preparing the class and looking through and saying, okay, for me, it makes sense. There's a certain logic to that. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to go live. So the first thing that happens, as I mentioned earlier, when you open an account, you're now on Google. And that, I'm sure you're all very familiar, okay? Because you've opened an account and you've now logged into your account, and you now can start searching. And I don't know what your experience is. I'd like to know what your experience is, but let me just share my experience first. Is you see, you can now use audio to search. You don't have to type. And I found the audio superior to typing. Okay. It's just amazing. So if you haven't tried it, have you tried it? The audio?
Yeah.
Okay. You have tried it, Sue. And how have you found it?
Yeah, because it just, when I do it on my laptop, it's right there. I just talk and it's so easy.
It is so easy, and depending how you phrase what you're saying, okay. But I find it really good. Now, I'm not going to give you an example because it is a detailed class, and we won't get through what I want to if we dilly-dally on having fun with the microphone. Okay, right. So I think the first thing, and probably the most important, I think everybody, regardless if they're working with the Outlook or Yahoo, and they should have a Google account, okay, a Google Gmail account, okay, it won't look like this because you're allowed to put your own background on your Gmail, okay. So I change my background from time to time, just a bit of fun, and but the functionality, you can also add functionality around your Gmail, because somebody's going to send you a Gmail account, an email, let's say, and you now have got all sorts of information possibly sitting on your email. and you now, what do you do with it? Okay, and there are lots of things you can do with it while you're on your Gmail, google.com. And you can create folders of your own. So you can now file information and things into your own specific folders. You can also label the content. Okay, so it starts becoming handy, particularly when you want to move into some sort of regular activity, be it a serious hobby or a serious business or something like that. So you're going to be researching, you're going to be asking for emails, you're going to be asking for information from various people that you go and research, and you must have a strategy. So with Gmail, you can have the amazing strategy, okay? And you can also have on the side of your Gmail, you see I'm on the extreme right now. If I put my cursor over, the word keep comes there. Okay, can you see it? It's not.
Yes.
Okay. Now keep are your notes. Okay, that's another Google app. It's the notes where you can keep rough notes and keep them handy. You can link them to a calendar and so on. But as you jump from one app to another one, let's say you now doing something else, you just ask for the notes and there they are. So you can keep your notes as you're building and maybe information, and you can categorize, but I'll show you the notes. So you can also have your tasks on Gmail right next to you there. So you click task, you create a task. Yeah? I want to research this by tomorrow, and you put a calendar with it as well. And I want to start researching tomorrow, and this is what I want to research, and so forth. Okay. You also have an app just for all your contacts, and you can do all sorts of things with those. So I'll show you about that. But I brought in Zoom here. Now, Zoom is not to do with Google, but I wanted it here. And you can add, there's a plus sign underneath. You can add what you particularly want here. On the other side, you can allow a chat. So you've got a chat Google app. You can add a chat, start a chat with somebody who sent you an email, and you think, good. Okay, let me just ask him a few questions. And so you send him a chat. And you can also go and you can meet him right at the bottom. A meet is equivalent to Zoom, okay, in Google's. Okay, and so you can quickly up. But I'll show you the actual app. So I just find Gmail really an important and central part. It's very much a central part of my life and my business. Okay,
I had no idea you could do all this stuff in here. I had no idea.
Now there is a specialist class, and I strongly recommend you get familiar with the more detailed aspects. Okay, I've just lingered a little bit because I want to emphasize that this is, I think, a cornerstone of anything you do. If you want to do something, I mean, if you're not doing something, if you don't have a purpose in your life and are doing things, then you perhaps don't need it. But otherwise, there's just so much functionality sitting here waiting for you to use. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can, of course, there's your waffle iron, okay, and they drop down all the apps, and if you scroll down, you can see a lot more of them. So that waffle iron reveals.
So that's how many classes we need to take. All of those. Oh my goodness.
There's going to be a lot of late nights, huh, Catherine?
That's fine, but we've got more than 30 years, so spend a few nights putting it all together so that you can have value to your life. Okay.
Gone are the days where I had IT at my fingertips,
For sure. Yeah, I remember getting my first computer in 1970 or 1971. My first computer. I paid a fortune for it.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it was probably huge.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So the next obvious thing when you're now dealing with all this sort of central point, you need a calendar. And I've linked the calendar at the top there in my Google, but let's go and have a look at, you can have it separately. There is the Google the Google Calendar. This makes you keep track of important events. You can share schedules. You can create multiple calendars. In fact, you can link them. You respond to manage, maybe you manage an event now in your retirement and you volunteered on, you can manage all that from your Google Calendar. And you can create reminders. You can reminders for a day before, a reminder 5 minutes before, and you can customize your calendar. So, and you can share from your calendar. You can share this and get, so other people put it in their calendar, okay? And you can access your notes that you've created, the little yellow thing I showed you, and you can access your tasks, and there they are, and you can put whatever more you want. You want a map to find out how to get to somewhere. When you go in there, there are maps are linked next to calendar, and you can add other add-ons as well. So I find calendar, it's just an indispensable. But you know what? I'll tell you a secret. I also use a physical diary still as well.
Yeah, when I was working, I did the same thing.
Yeah.
I have to have that written. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It helps.
I don't know why, because I've got them in both places, but somehow here it is. It's sitting next to me, it's
Comfort.
It's something. It's I think we must do a class about habits of
Habits.
the
That's
people.
exactly right.
Why do we do things that we really don't have to do anymore? Anyway, that's the calendar. If you've got any questions, just shout them out. But a calendar, I'm sure you're familiar. You might have, there are lots of calendars on the market, a lot. So this is the Google one, and it links in with all their apps. So it makes sense to use the Google Calendar if you're going to use Gmail as your home, if you're going to use Google Drive as saving your information. Okay.
I love that Get Set Up, you're able to save the scheduled classes. It goes right onto the Google Calendar. That I love.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know. That must be new. When did you do that?
Every time I schedule a class, it will ask me if I want to add it to my Google Calendar, and of course I do. Or you can choose Google Calendar or any other. There's like 3 different choices.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never approached Get Set Up from that side, from your side.
Well, yeah. Well, it's a good thing anyway on our side.
Yeah. And it is a good thing. And, you can do it from your email to, anyway, let's not get into too much detail.
Sorry.
Then there's Meet, which I told you is the equivalent of Zoom. Okay. So you're working with Zoom, and you click for a new meeting, exactly the same as Zoom. You immediately go into a meeting. You can invite people, or you can meet people in the room because they know your link. And or if you're entering somebody else's meeting, you can enter a code. And it's let's say, if I had to compare it to Zoom, this is my personal opinion, all right, is that Zoom has far more functionality by far. Okay, so you can do, if you want to do more things, you use Zoom. But if you just want to meet and do odd things, sort of just the everyday type of sharing, then it's quick and easy and not complicated. Okay, so you could do half a class on this and you would know it and you'd be able to use it. And Get Set Up, we use both. We use Zoom for the more detailed classes, and we use this for the casual meetings of support people and so on, where we're just chatting about whatever. Then this comes in really handy and quick. And of course, it links to the Google Calendar. You put the date of the meeting, and then just click on it in the calendar, and up comes you into the meeting. Okay. So they all work well. If we go to the Keep, I showed you the Keep in Gmail, and I showed it to you in the calendar. This is your notes. Okay. So you can now just type a note quickly, and you can put it into categories or labels, as they call it, and you can label them. I haven't labeled any here because you know, I tend to put my notes in my diary and on my desk. I'm not a good advert for this one, but I will start. And you can set reminders and so forth. So it's organizing your notes. And I challenge you to do that now and break some habits. And you can challenge me and come back and find out if I've done it. So yeah, so you can do various things. You can draw as well. You can create drawings, and yeah, you can bin. You've got full access from a lot of different places and Google Apps. Right. The next thing is where I do want to just labor a little bit, and this is Google Drive. Okay, and I strongly recommend that. Because you have a Google account, you have a Google Drive, okay? So if you go to drive.google.com, then if you're not already logged in, Google would ask you to log in, and then you log in, then you're at your own Drive. This is where everything that you do that has content is stored, okay? And from June this year, even your photographs that were separate or are still separate at this moment are going to become part and parcel of Google Drive, and you're going to manage them from here. Oh. Okay, so if you're using you would have got a notification, probably an email already from Google. They started telling us about a year ago, and so it's still happening. But don't worry, the photographs that you historically have on photos will stay there, and it won't be part of what I'm going to tell you now, and that's your storage capacity. You are given 15 gigabytes of storage capacity for free, okay? And you can work within that if you are very disciplined. In other words, you delete what you don't want. And not only delete, okay, you've also got to delete the deleted, okay? So when you put something in the rubbish bin, okay, or the bin, it doesn't, you can still retrieve it from the bin, okay, at any time into the future until you actually empty the bin. Then it's gone for good, okay, but it's still in your storage. So just keep that in mind. You can see here on the left bottom of my screen, I now have 200 gigabytes of storage. You buy more, and it's not expensive, okay? The gigs are like cents, not dollars, okay? And so, yeah, you can, and then when you get near running out, Google is really very good. It shows you how to go about looking and searching for stuff you can delete. Okay.
So Michael, does this have anything to do with OneDrive and Dropbox and all of those different storage cloud things?
Okay. The two that you mentioned are not Google applications, okay? So yes, it's exactly the same as OneDrive, and there are a number of others as well. I use OneDrive as well, and I use OneDrive specifically for certain types of things that I work with, okay? And so I just, because it's free, I use it, okay? And Dropbox as well, the free version of Dropbox. So, you know, but it's been like an evolvement. Things have evolved over the years, and you know, many years ago I only used Dropbox, and then I used professional Dropbox, and then I changed businesses, and all the rest of it was quite a role. So I evolved to Google Drive, and to OneNote as well, or OneDrive, yeah.
So if I have my drive syncing, is this one syncing also? So if I deleted something on this, it's going to delete on the other ones also?
Yes, Yes, it will. Wherever it's all one. It's only stored really in one place, and that's here. Okay, even though you access it from maybe your phone, if you delete it on your phone, it will delete here. Okay, but it will go to the bin. That's what I'm saying. So you won't have to scrabble for everything all over the place. It's all central. It's all one. So all the storage takes place here. And you can really organize yourself with Google Drive. You can create your own folders. You can see all these are all folders of mine that I've created over years. Okay, and I don't know, you might even be able to see some of the dates going back here. 2018 it seems to be the last date that's there, but I create that, and you can do anything with these folders. So there's lots of functionality, and there is a full-time Get Set Up class, a whole hour just working with this. And like I said, you should do that class with Gmail. I think you should do it with Drive as well. Okay, if you are using Google Drive, but if you're using and saving somewhere else on the cloud, possibly not. Okay, but if you're going to use the apps of Google Drive, then they will be stored here, and then people will link. You see, you've got on the left-hand side there, shared with me. Okay, so you've got here anything that's been shared with you is listed here, and who shared it. Okay, as well, and so you've got quick access to other people. This has been stored on their Google Drive, so you just have a link to it. Okay, so it's not taking up your space, it's taking up their space, and there's a great facility. I must stop talking now because we're not going to get through. But go to the main class, okay, and go to Google Drive and have a look at all the detail that goes in and how you can organize your life around the functionality of the things that I'm showing you now. Okay, then if you go to let's say, I'm just going to try and just get you something here. Let me just minimize that and stretch that. There we are. You see on the top of your screen, this is a particular website where Google itself takes you to your documents, to your sheets, to your slides, to your forms. Okay, and I'll put this in the email I sent to you. It's called, google.com.docs. About at least, and you can go and click on any one of these up here, and it takes you to your particular, and now you can immediately learn more about that particular aspect. Or you go directly, if you click on go to your Google Sheets, then you click on it and it takes you directly to your Google Sheets, and there are all your sheets listed there. So that becomes a very handy link. It's not an app in itself, okay? It's a link to those 4 things, which are all related to business. Okay, so if you're going to use these, I still use Microsoft Office on my down below, but when I save it in the clouds, it within a couple of seconds, it'll allow you to change it to a Microsoft Word into a Google Docs. Okay, and then you've got both in the clouds, or you delete the Microsoft Words and just use the Google Docs. And so I'm in the process of doing that with a lot of things that I'm now working with, because I want everything in the cloud, and I don't want to have. I've had many a day crying because even though I backed up stuff, the backed up on my device was corrupt, and goodness me. Okay, but I'll send you that. Be aware of it. Okay, then the Google Contacts. You can do all sorts of things with your Google Contacts, and I strongly recommend that you put your contacts into Google Contacts, and there is a class that deals with it, but the functionality of what you can do with your contacts, besides the obvious, okay, besides organizing it and putting it into categories and maybe geographical things and labeling them, putting them into labels. It really organizes it also shows you when you maybe haven't contacted a contact for a long time. You can see when you last contacted them and then delete them, because why keep a lot of contacts that you're not going to. So you can review things, you can merge your contacts, you can create your own personal mailing lists. So that group, there's a group, that's off it goes now. Everything I'm doing now, I'm going to send an email to that group. So you can quickly send messages to groups and things like that. So it comes in very, very, very handy to use that. But it takes a bit of discipline to get. Then we go to photos. Okay. Sorry, I told you about my youngest daughter having a child. So they send me a photo, and the photos get uploaded immediately. Okay. And there's the father and mother, and so all your photos come here. And as I've said, they will be part of Google Drive, and they will take up space. They will take up some of your 15 gigs of, so yeah. So you have that's part of my garden you see there, and that's a bandicoot. It's a wild bandicoot that comes into the garden looking for food. And there's even a sign across the road outside, across the road, a big yellow sign saying, allow bandicoot to cross, or bandicoot crossing. Bandicoot crossing. That's
Oh
right.
my goodness.
Yeah, they very they love their animals in Australia. My wife does a class on 2 classes, in fact, on Australian animals. So.
And does he destroy your garden?
No, not at all. No, we feed it. We put out seed and we put out some dog food for it, and we saw it pregnant a few months ago. It's just like a kangaroo. It has a bag in front, and really so interesting. Anyway, I get too sidetracked, don't I?
I'm so sorry.
You have to do a
we do
class
it
on
too.
that.
Okay. All right. But photos, photos because you've been working with them all your life, probably. And you can put them into albums. You can do all sorts of things, label them and share them and so forth. So photographs, yes, that's definitely part of our lives, I think. You can also use Google Translate. Now, that's terribly interesting. You can select a document from your computer. Okay, let's say it's an English document, and you can either talk in here and it'll translate into whatever language you want. Okay, they're the languages.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, or you can take a document. Okay, you can just upload a document, and you can put the document here, and within seconds it's translated it into whatever language you want. So I know if I get involved with this one, we're going to take up too much time because it's so interesting.
Wow. That's
But
impressive.
I'm not sure. I don't think we have a class on this one that I'm aware of. I'm not sure. Kim, do you know if we've got a class on the Google Translate? I'm not sure. But anyway.
No, we don't have a class for that, but I'll have that notated for our team to check if there's a guide who can teach that class.
Okay, yeah. It's really interesting because especially in this day and age now, as the world is so small, and it's great having to be able to translate. Even if you're doing a presentation to mixed languages, you can have the written translation, next to you. And anyway, so that's Translate. And next time if we have time, I'll show you a document and how to translate it. But let's not go. The next one is Google Play. Now, Google Play is really if you first of all, everything you can buy movies from Google Play, as you probably know. and it gives you all sorts of new ones, old ones, and all the rest of them, and best-selling comedies and all those sort of things. Okay, nothing new to you and I. But if you click on apps, okay, now it's a little bit different, okay. But I'm not going to take you through them because of time. I'm going to search. So if you search something, let's say you want an app, and let's call it Lens, okay, and you click on Lens. Now it's searching for that app, and there is that app, okay. Now, do you know what that app's about? Okay,
Camera?
you download that app, okay, and you can point your camera at any plant in your garden, and it'll tell you what it's called.
Oh, I want that.
Isn't it great?
Yes. Gardening is my biggest hobby.
Oh, mine too. Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
But you can point it at a pair of shoes, and it will name the shoes for you. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I gotta have
That's
that.
really neat. I never heard of that before.
Well, there's so much, Sue, you and I, there's so much that we haven't heard of. Let me tell you. And that's why I enjoy, just sharing. So, you'll even find this on a picture. Maybe as you're Googling through on the website and so on, if you see this icon, you can press it and it'll tell you something about that picture. Okay.
That's really neat.
Yeah, it is. So anyway, that's on a Google Play. It's a lot of exploring and a lot of trying out and so on. But I like to give you one to try out. So try out that one, okay? And it's not the only app on the market that does that, okay? There are non-Google ones that also do it, but try that one. It's there. And then have you ever been on Google Earth? Yes or no?
That I have done.
Great. Sue, have you?
No, not. I watched somebody else do it to look up something, but I haven't actually done it myself.
Carol, have you? Or Sandra? Okay.
My husband does it.
Okay. Now, with you call it up. Remember, it's from space, so it's in a picture. So if you just let's say search for something, and let's say you search for somebody's address, okay, it now starts backing off and finding out where the address is and what part of the continent, and then it comes down, and not only does it take you to the address, it shows you the house. Okay, I mean, it's really a lot of fun. There are lots of things you can do, and we do have a class on Google Earth. I haven't taken it, so I'm not sure what their approach is, but I'm sure it would be fun. And Google Earth is fun. So it's an app that is really worth looking at, okay, is Google Earth, just for fun. You're not going to, I don't think, use it for business, because as I say, I haven't taken the class. What you will use is Google Maps, okay? And, you probably got that on your phone. You go in somewhere, okay? This is one habit I got out of very easily, is having that old map book next to you, turning the pages of the old map book, looking how to get from A to B. Here, not only does it show you how to get from A to B, but it talks to you, turn left, turn right, It's a lot. It gets you where you want to go. And,
do you still have an atlas somewhere?
No, I don't.
I do.
I do too.
I do. I have.
Yeah, we still have one too.
It's the big one too, It's.
Yes. Well, we'll have to have a museum in your room, in your house somewhere. You see, where you put all these things in.
The Old Timers Museum.
Yeah.
Museum.
Oh dear.
Okay, so we all use that, and that, it comes in handy. The second last thing I want to show you is Google Podcasts. Now, audio has been growing and growing tremendously since the lockdown and so on, because people can now listen to something they want to learn about or be entertained just on audio while they, maybe going for a run, maybe up, doing a gym class at your home. You put the earphone in and you can listen to an audio, which is a podcast. Okay, and here, and you can follow certain people. So as they bring out a new podcast, you can. So you find, if you, depending what you're interested in. I mean, TED Talks. We probably all know TED Talks, and there are a lot of interesting things, but there are also a lot of not interesting things. So you'd have to. So you'd find. I mean, there's your Trevor Noah in your morning show. If you can follow him on podcast, and he can be funny at times. Yeah, so you see, you just go down and you see all sorts of options. Now,
What's the mindset mentor?
no, it's good. It's really what it says it is. Okay, for anyone desiring motivation, direction, and focus in life. Okay, so that's good. But you also get. I've got a business one. I just can't think of its name as I'm talking to you now. That. It's on the tip of my tongue. But if I think of it before I send you the email, I'll share it with you. It's also a podcast about business, simple business, and things you should be doing, and that's all they do. That's their podcast, okay. And
that would be good too.
And they've been doing it for like 3 or 4 years now, and so. I learned a lot and tried a lot of things they said. Anyway, so that's the podcast. Search for yourself for a podcast. And then finally, there's Google News. And it's worthwhile having Google News if you don't, I just don't watch television very much anymore. Maybe once a week, I might watch a news broadcast, okay? And there's anything on the news, you can see on the top left-hand side, you can make news specifically for yourself. You can tell Google what you want, and then it will then come up. Then you can get world news, you can get your local, country news,
Australia.
and you can get business news, and so it's another lovely app to keep track of the news. All right, so that brings us to the end of our class, except for any questions you want to ask, and I'll answer them if I can.
That was very good. Thank you.
Okay, you liked it. Okay, no, that's
very
good.
Very good, but I still have one more question. It's
Sandra.
On the storage thing. Because all of my stuff is synced and I need to delete stuff, but I don't want to delete it from all of the because I have pictures and everything, so it's like duplicates. So I want to delete some of the pictures and keep them in just one specific drive, but because they're syncing, it's going to delete it from everything. So how do I unsync the drives?
You're probably using the wrong word when you use the word delete, I'm assuming, because you want to keep the photos. You just don't want them where you want them. So I would create a folder for those people, for those photos, okay? Then you can, I think that's probably the best way to do it, because otherwise, everything is stored on Google Drive, and you must really take the advanced class, Sandra, because there's so much you can do with this drive. And you might find that a better solution than a separate folder.
Okay, so take the advanced Google Drive.
Google Drive class, yeah.
Okay.
And
I'll look for that.
It up for you while we're talking, but. It'll look for Google Drive.
Okay, I'll look for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question. And any other questions?
Wonderful job. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. Okay, well, thanks very much for joining. And you'll get an email from me as promised. And if I can think of that one business one, I will let you know. I'll go and have a look on it's on my phone. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Have a good one.
Nice
Good
meeting you.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Thank you,
night.
Michael.
Back to you.
Bye-bye.